There was a Banshee rock in Kelly's Field, but no, it's gone now because Banshees, well, there used to be Banshees in Kelly's Field, mainly one Banshee, but the builders are after building houses and soccer pitches in Kelly's Field, so the Banshees are now gone down to Kelly's Field in Moyross, and well, there's loads of Banshees down in the dump field and in Galleys as well.
There's the Headless Coachman and the Headless Horseman.
The Headless Horseman was probably fighting with a Banshee and he died, or he just
got his head chopped off.
Yeah, or he was just probably jocking his horse down there and something killed him, or he just fell off or something. And the Headless Coachman, he got killed by a Banshee, or he probably lost his head off a branch or something. And the rock, the builders broke the rock because they never knew it was a Banshee rock, and some people say they got a bad luck.
Yeah, bad luck to break the Banshee rock, and then some of the builders got bad luck, like down in the inner road there's a fairy tree there, and the builder cut it down and he was never seen again.
There's a bank up in the back of the island, and there's a Handball Alley up there, and there's a swamp, and the green lady is supposed to live in the swamp, and if you're walking the bank she's supposed to tear you into the swamp.
And the bank goes all around the island, and there's a big long swamp, and it goes through, there's like a little bridge, and it goes all the way through the bridge, you know.
I want to tell you something about Handball Alley, and if you touch the four corners and say the Hail Mary 3 times backwards, and you'll get locked in. And my sister Chantelle touched the 3 corners, and she was too frightened to touch the last one. And you know, up by the bank there's a little swamp, and there's a green lady, and she's all green, and she has black rag clothes on her, and she has black hair. And do you know the Vanishing? Do you know if you look at her, and if you look at her, she'll throw the comb at you, and if you ever hear the Banshee crying in the night time, you'll never look at her because she'll fire the comb at you.
No, if you look into her eye, you'll die straight away.
And if you look into her eye, you'll die straight away.
1986, there used to be a great war in King John's Castle, and the wife, at the end of the war, the wife was sitting on the bridge, and then she had a row with her husband, and then he pushed off, and she was hanging off the bridge. Then her nails were stuck into, like a big long nails around here, were stuck into the wall and couldn't get out, so all her nails came off and she fell in. And he pushed her in, and then she died.
And people say she wrote her name when she had her nails stuck in with her other nails on her hand.
She was hanging on one hand, and she bit her name to remember the spot where she died.
Don't ever cry over spilt milk because it's easy to be cleaned up.
Because a baby always cries over spilt milk, and you shouldn't really, it's no big deal, you'll always get more.
There was this woman called the Bishop's Lady. She was always going around killing the children and the hairs, and no child went down to the road. And then her husband, the bishop, he threw her over the bridge at 12 o'clock. So you're not meant to go over the bridge between 12 o'clock and 12:15, because that's the time he threw her over, and she'll come up and drag you in.
And you can see all her nails scraped on the wall. And if you touch them, you get haunted for a week.
No, you get haunted for a few months, because she just loves killing. It's mostly children that touch them, and she goes around terrorising them. It's only children that she terrorises.
She thinks they're her own family.
So she loves killing them.
And my granddad came from Wexford, and his man every night in November. One night in November, she would go out to the middle of the road, and you could hear these kind of footsteps of a horse, and then her hair would blow up, and then in seconds her hair would go back down, and then she went back in, and nobody knew what it was, and it wasn't windy at all. And she did that every year.
My granddad used to work in Cardiff because there was no houses. There was just one bungalow. So he was walking home one night, and he saw a Banshee on the rock combing her hair with her nails, and then he looked back like that, and he saw her, and then he looked in front of her, and he saw her then in front of her, and then he walked on, and she started going, ah, and then looked back, and she wasn't there at all, and then he walked over her.
And the bishop lady, someone pushed her into the river, and you can see she'd very long nails, and you can see her nail marks on the bridge, Halla Ide bridge. And if you touch it, it's a sign of death, or else you'll get haunted. And if you see a bit of cloak or comb on the roads, it's a sign of the Vanishing's death. She'll come and haunt you.
So never pick it up if you ever see a comb or
With grey hair and the comb.
Or is the combs kind of old-fashioned with all curly bits in it? Never pick it up because then you'll definitely know it sounds.
If your forehead is itchy, it means you've hair of a death. If your right hand is itchy, it means you're going to get money. If your left hand is itchy, it means that you'll shake hands with someone. If your foot is itchy, it means you're going to walk in strange ground. If your ear is itchy, it means someone's talking about you. If your nose is itchy, it means someone's reading you.
If a knife goes, we're going to talk about what a knife to the floor and man to the door means. If you drop a knife on the floor, it usually means a strange man is going to come in the door. And it happened to me before. I dropped a knife on the floor, and my father's friend walked in the door, and I didn't know him, and he was like a stranger to me, but my father knew him.
Once happened to me, I was cleaning the ware and I dropped a knife on the floor and I heard the door knocking, so I went to answer, and an electric man came in the door and I never knew him, but my mother did.
Near St. Patrick's School, my friend's friend, her nana and granda were walking down the hill, and the headless man and the deck coach was coming down, and the man didn't know, so he said, "How are you?" and "It's a lovely evening," and when he looked like that, he was gone again.
The Banshee is black, and sometimes she lives up around knocked down buildings, and if you go there, sometimes you'll see her and she's all black and she floats, and if you see her with a golden comb, you'll die 5 seconds.
And after the battle, she didn't know to kill someone that the clothes go red, so that's the sign of blood getting spilled. And that's why she kills them. But she don't let people bother her or anything.
And down near my house, there's a Handball Alley, and there'll be all bats flying around at 12 o'clock. And if you tick the 4 corners and you say Hail Mary backwards 5 times, you get haunted.
There was these Scotsmen who used to always go down to the island field and camp on the bank, and then one night they were camping and they were playing their pipes and and they fell into the river, all of them, and now they say that every night that they fell into the river, to go down there and you can hear them playing the pipes.
Like, there's this house near me, it's next to a butcher's, and no one lives in it and no one goes in there or anything. And if you look out there, like pure at around 11 o'clock, the lights keep on going on and off inside there. And there's no one or anything in there. If you look in the mirror at 12 o'clock in the night, you'll see the figure.
If you step in a crack, you break your mother's back.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
My mom told me she saw the Banshee outside Quilty's pub, she did, and she saw the Banshee just outside the door, just over to the right, and she saw him sitting on the wall, the Banshee, crying, she did, and she believes it's the Banshee and that, but she doesn't believe in the way Banshee kills people and that, because I don't really believe in the Banshee that much.
Some people told me that if you get 3 knocks on the door, it's the Banshee. Don't answer because she'll throw the comb at your face, and you can go blind when you stare her in the eye. And she wears a big white cloak, and she's green and white hair.
People say around the island that if you see a cloak, a
black piece of a cloak, or if you see a comb, don't pick it up. Because if you see a comb, don't pick it up and bring it into your house, or the Banshee will come in and she'll take it and haunt you. And the cloak, if you pick up the cloak and if it touches your hand will turn all skinny and it'll turn all kind of bony.
This woman, she lived in Ballanty, and she went to this fortune teller, and the fortune teller gave her this note, and she said, "Don't open this till you get home." And then she crashed into a truck, and then the guards then found that note and goes, and they opened it and goes, "Rest in peace."
Well, if you tip the four corners of the Handball Alley at night, at 12 o'clock at night, it can't be 1 minute past 12, it has to be bang on 12 o'clock. If you tip the four corners of it, loads of bats will come flying out. And everybody says that the bats are the Banshee's children, because if you tip the four corners, bats come flying out and they say they're her children to haunt you, the bat. And she's grey hair and she's always brushing her hair, and if you ever hear her and don't look at her, just close the curtains or go somewhere where you can't see her, because she'll throw the comb at you and she'll make you blind. And if you ever find a piece of comb or a bit of her cloak on the ground, don't pick it up because it's a sign of death. And if you hear knocks on your door like 1, 2, 3, it's the sign of death. Someone's going to hunt you. And if you hear the 3 knocks and you look out the window and she's not there and you don't see her, she'll fire a comb at you because she's hiding. And that's it.
There was a man called Headless Horseman. He's from Moyross. He was in Moyross. He lived in Moyross, and he had a horse down in Delhi's because Delhi gave him a permission to keep him the horse. So he had the horse in there. And one night he was down in Delhi's driving his horse after drinking with his friends, and he said he'd go down and catlock the horse. Yeah, he was drunk. And after
he didn't realise it was so late.
Yeah, he thought it was about 7:30, and he was after a while. Then he got drunk and fell off the horse. And then after about 4:30, the Banshees came and killed him. Well, Banshees came, there were 4 of them, and the leader one came. Well, she lived in Kelly's Field this time, but she came down with her friends, and they came over and killed him, and he became the Headless Horseman. And then they took his head, and now the Headless Horseman is after Banshees to get his head back, and
to fight in the whole thing.
He was drunk one night and they just took his head and he became the Headless Horseman. But now he's like a jockey. He's jockey's clothes on, and he has his horse, which is a ghost as well. It's supposed to be like.
My mother told me that this fella, his name is Drunky Teddy, he pushed the Banshee in near to Tom and Gate Bridge, and I thought the Banshee was standing on that bridge and she fell in, and her nails are still there.
There was a thing called Ballanty Club. You have to go through damages to get it. So then my mother and my godmother was walking out and they saw a sheet on the ground. So my godmother went over and said, Someone shouldn't have left that sheet at all, that's nice. So then the sheet lifted up off the ground, and then the sheet lifted up off the ground and tipped on the shoulder, and she started screaming, and then it went up over damages, and then they ran up to the country club.
And the Banshee lives, they're supposed to say that the Banshee lives in the Handball Alley, and she has all grey hair, and she wears kind of black and grey kind of clothes.
It's like all tore up at night, just like it's all tore.
And it's all rags. And if you're walking along the road and you see a broken comb or a rag, you're not supposed to pick them up because they're supposed to be the Banshees.
And if you pick it up then and bring it into your house, she comes and haunts you, man.
People say that because there's all green stuff inside the water down in the island, they say that there's a green lady down there, and and if it's after 12 o'clock, I think, and if you go down there, she'll drag you down under there, and she'll kill you under there because then waste our oxygen and die. And
Because one fella said he was going swimming and he said if I go drag down by the leg.
yeah, he dragged, because he'd be walking over late at night, he'd just come up from swimming with all his friends, and he didn't realise the time, and then all his friends ran down the road and they're like galloped down the road on their horses, and then he just walked under the bars and he got taken under, and then he was their rocks and
Because
died.
it's all this kind of green thing and they said it's all a green lady.
Once I was on the bank and I bring my 2 dogs with me and we were passing the green lady and the dog, I was throwing the bottle and the dog it went into the swamp, but the dog fell in after it and my other dog saved him.
And if you see a magpie and you're with your friend, you have to go like this. And no, and if you were on your own, you have to go like that. And then you won't have bad luck.
They all said that if you step on a crack, you break your mother's back, but no one would believe it.
I don't believe because you can't just break your mother's back without her doing herself an injury.
Yeah, if you step on a crack, that's nothing. Who believe if you step on a crack, you break your mother's back? That's nonsense.
I stood in a crack once and my mother's back got injured over work.
I stepped on a crack, my mother's back didn't break.
My mother's
But Donna Marie's mother's back did break because she stepped on the crack.
When you walk into a grave, you shouldn't be messing just in case you slip and fall, and you shouldn't walk on the dead because you might wake them.
You have to stand for feet and you're going out of the grave.
You shouldn't take any conker stones or leaves with you outside because it's bad luck.
And you'll smell like garlic near the tombs.
Sometimes people say that the smell of garlic is off like people that were vampires.
And if you're supposed to leave, if you leave your comb on the windowsill, and the Banshee's supposed to come and comb her hair, and if you wake up in the morning and there's all grey hairs on your comb, that means that the Banshee was in the house.
My friend taught me this now, but I don't think it's real. My friend, if you leave a hair comb on your windowsill at night time, about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, a Banshee be coming and combing her hair, and if she sees you then she'll just kill you.
One day my sister, she was out in the bank with all her friends, and she was in the Handball Alley playing handball, and when she was walking home, all her friends were ahead of her. There was no one behind her, and then she felt something tipping her. She turned around, there was nothing there. Then she turned back around, she started walking, then she heard footprints behind her. Then she stopped again and turned around, there was no one there. Then she heard kind of finger noises, and she turned around, there was no one there. So then she ran up to her friends and she told her friends, and then they goes, there's no one there, because all of us are here. And she just ran home.
And there, years ago, the Thomond Bridge, at the Thomond Bridge, the drunken Teddy and the Banshee went up there and they were fighting and they were drunk, like they were up there, and the drunken Teddy threw her over the bridge with him because they jumped over it, and if you go up there now you'll see all her scrapes on the bridge. Like you can see it's around that much scrapes, it's just around that big, and you can see her scrapes, and it's like because it was all, she dug her nails into trying to hold on to it, but her nails didn't just scrape down along it, and she got pulled in as well.
And if you find a piece of comb on the ground or rags, and a broken comb. If you take them to your house, the Banshee is supposed to come in and haunt you.
My nanny lived in this haunted place, and she was asleep, and then she woke up because of all these noises, and then she went out into the kitchen, and there was no one there. Then she went back in. She was asleep around 4 or 5 minutes, and then she woke up. And there was a ghost, and then she was trying to scream. And the ghost took a voice. Then she got up. Then the ghost was gone out the door, and then the door banged.
Drunken Teddy was run home again, and himself went down to the Island field to play cards, and it said when you play cards after midnight it was bad luck, and then they were all playing cards, and then the Banshee came. She came out of the Handball Alley, and they were on the bank playing cards, and they all went home, and Drunken Teddy was struggling over the bridge, and because he was so drunk, and the bishop's lady jumped out because it was 12 o'clock, and she dragged him in because that was the time she got thrown off the bridge.
My granddad's cousin's father was going to work on his bike, and he saw this woman all dressed in black, and he kept cycling as hard as he could to see her face, but he couldn't see her face, and then he kind of slowed down, and then when he looked back up she was gone, and then a few weeks or days later his daughter died.
It's a hill called Gugu's Hill, and if you go over to a patch, it's a patch like that, and it's boarded up, and if you say Gugu's Hill, Gugu's Hill, Gugu's Hill 3 times, and he'll come out and haunt you. And my cousin said that, and she did it on Halloween night, and he came out.
Never cross a knife and a fork.
Do not throw sugar in the fire because it will make flames.
The old dog for the hard road, the puppy for the footpath.
Throw salt in the fire because it put down the flames.
My nana, when she was young anyway, the Banshee was still alive, and she used to tell me stories that her mother used to tell her about Banshee. See, my nana goes on the field every night with her friends, but she don't smoke. She goes on the field with her friends. She used to, and then all my nana could see is something splashing out of the water, and started singing. So my nana ran around, they were all screaming, and they ran around in circles until they fell, and they got back off and ran again, and then ran over home.
I went out the country, and I just went out to the country, and I saw there was a raheen. I could pay money to go in, and you would kind of go down a small hill like that. But it was small, and then there's all kind of stones covering around it. They said the part where you come in, there's no path for coming into it. It's just grass where you have to come over kind of a hill. And then I went into it and I said a prayer, and then you're supposed to get look for the rest. You're supposed to get look for the rest of your life once you go in there. But I don't know if I get bad luck now for one in there.
One day my aunt, this is another story, she was walking down, it was years ago, my mother was telling me, she was walking down and there was a nun behind her when she was walking to work because it was 5 o'clock, and when she looked around the nun was still there, but when she looked around a minute later the nun disappeared just out of nowhere.
That happened my aunt as well. See, she goes to work at 6, so she was heading off for 20 to 6 in the morning, and when she was walking down, the convent near the school, she works there, and she was walking down, and the nun, she said there was a nun behind her, and when she looked back like that, the nun disappeared.
And if you drive straight out the dual carriageway, and as you get to the end of it, you look out this way and you'll see loads of trees, and just one of them is a fairy, I think it's the middle one, it's the fairy tree, and it's chopped down, and it got chopped down ages ago, and if someone chopped it down, they get bad luck for 7 years or 8.
If there was a comb at the side of the road with grey hair in it, don't pick it up. Because It's ours. Is the Banshees here? No. I've not met.
There's a place up by my place called called Hauntings, and it's a burnt down house. There used to be a family.
And there's all grass and trees in the garden of it, and there's loads of banshees in there.
The builder is knocking out, and they're building new houses there, so they'll probably get bad luck if they
knock it.
There's banshees in there.
And doing it up like.
Their hauntings were used to live in there last time, and they got killed. Someone killed them for the house, but when they found out they were dead, they boarded up the house and burnt it down. But it's someone built it back up. We don't know who did, and it's just built back up, and there's rats and there's banshees in there.
Rats around the garden and in the house, and
there's banshees in there. At night time you would hear them, pounding in the house, and every time at daytime the lights are off in the sitting room. But when and there's no electric on that end. No, I swear there's no electric, and they're on. And when it's daytime, then they're off. And with some people say, and my friend now, he lives about across the road from it, and he says when he looks out his window, the lights be going off and on and off and on straight away, and there's no electric in the house. And he'd be seeing people inside the house, but it's not people, it's banshees, and they said
And there's a place down by my house. It's called people call it the Haunted Mansion, and it's down by a river. And the river is here, and you go up on a hill and you cross the road, and you go down a bit, and you be in there then, because there's kind of a wide gate, and the mansion's here then, right? There's a huge house, and then there's houses just here, and there's an upstairs flats there, and people drive in and round, and there's everyone says it's haunted because every time the people go in there, if you fell down a hole and if you stayed on the ground for 10 seconds, and if you hurt yourself and you stayed on the ground for 10 seconds and you never got up, you die.
Well, ages ago, I'm going to tell you about the bishop's lady. Ages ago, we all think that the bishop and the woman were fighting, and they were going for a walk. He said, we'll go for a walk and we'll sort out our arguments, and they got very bad, and he tried to throw her off the bridge. And as he was going to throw her off the bridge, she held on tightly to the wall, and as her nails were so long, her nails dug into the wall and they left a mark, and as he was trying to push her in, she wouldn't let go, and suddenly she was there for a while, and she suddenly let go and she fell into the river, and her nail prints are still on the wall. And anyone says whoever touched a nail print will get haunted, but I don't think that's true, because I tipped it before and I never got haunted. Sometimes they say if you touch it at 12 o'clock on Halloween night, they say it get haunted, but I don't think it's true.
Cross is a haunted place, and if we go up there past 12, we'll see a banshee, and if we see him, we'll have 7 seconds to get away from him, because if we don't get away in 7 seconds, we're going to die.
The Handball Alley is down by the bank, and me and my friend, we were in there playing, and she didn't believe if you tipped the 4 corners that something happened. So me and my other friend, we ran out, and she ran in and tipped the 4 corners, and when she came out, she was pure white. She got a fright, and she ran out of the bank, and we told her wait for us, and she ran up the road crying. If you're baking butter with the stick, you just push it down and up, and if you're baking it, you just leave a small bit up the door like that, and then the fairies just eat it, and then they just do nothing.
And that's why children aren't allowed up to the bank, because there's a lot of kidnappers and the Green Lady and the Banshees up there. And if you go down to the river, you can either fall in or someone might pull you in.
And inside town, the bridge, there's all big mad scrapes of the Banshee's nails, and I forget.
And then she was holding on, and then when she was falling, all the scraps was down along the wall, and then she drowned it. And then her trade-in is down Daddy's. There's loads of cars burnt down out, and she went over to another tree, and the tree got burnt as well. And over in the Kelly's Field, her rock was there and it got knocked by the builders to make the AstroTurfs and rugby pitches, goalposters, and
If you walk around the wrong side of the pole, you get bad luck. Talk under a bridge, you'll get bad luck too. And if you put no shoes up on the table, you'll get bad luck.
The Banshee has grey hair.
Yeah, and she wears kind of wedding dress and she's big long nails, but she's warm not here.
And they say if there's a E, and all some other alphabetical words that when you're going to die, she'll start crying.
For what?
Just they do.
What happened here?
That's when they start crying.
My mother was coming home from the pub one night, and she was walking the bank, and she fell, and then she saw the green lady, and she was brushing her hair on the rock, and then she spotted my mother, and the green lady then went back into the swamp before she spotted her mother before she walked off. And the next day then my mother didn't realise that she saw her. If you go up near Tracy's up a hill, and if you have a stone and you hit it's the shape of a love heart on the wall, and if you hit it and say goo 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 3 times, he'll go out and haunt you for nearly all your life.
And they say there's this house and there's loads of bars now, and they say if you keep in, they say that he used to live in that house and is boarded up now. But there's someone living in there.
And no one goes up there no more. Barely no one goes up. If they're coming home from the pub and all, they'll be all touching and all hitting it with rocks. And if they say goo 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 goo, be their own fault getting haunted.
My friend told me all about the Banshee when she got killed and she got home. Her neck got stabbed, and when she fell off the bridge, she came back to haunt people when they threw them off the bridge, and she killed them in the bed, and she drove them, and the woman went to the guards, and the guards wouldn't believe her what she said, and when she got married again, her husband painted the house green, but when he came in, when he went in and then he went back out, it was red, and then he's that was the sign of death. And his wife said, "Do you want anything?" And he said, "Could I have sausages?" And when she came out to him, he was hung up in a tree, and you're not supposed to be out at that after 11, or you get killed. And my mother saw a ghost up in the wall, and then when she said hello, and then she turned back, he was gone.
My father's friend, when he was younger, he was following a load of old people because they believed in the Vanishing, and just there was a wall there and all the old people were there. He ducked down, he said, "Woo!" And then when all the old people ran away, he stopped, and the Banshee started going woo, and he scattered and he fell into a puddle on his way.
200 or 300 years ago there was this big mansion up in Limerick, in Ballycannon. There was, at the night of a wedding, there was a man and a woman. They went up and they went into their house. They did something wrong. I think the thing was, the ring was kind of cursed with something, and then he put it on, and then the ring just started going, the thing just went, and the house fell down on top of them, and they were dead.
If you find a big bit of cloak, and if you find a big bit of cloak, it's the Headless Horseman, and if you find a small bit of cloak, it's the Banshees, and the Headless Horseman's cloak is black, and the Banshee's cloak is a tiny bit, and it's only grey, and he goes around just to find a head to look like him, and he says says hi to people, he knocks at people's door. And you know, if you hear 3 knocks at the door like that, it's the Banshee. It's a sign of death. And if you go out to your door, there's no one there. And around a week later, someone is going to die in your family.
She has a kind of skirt down by her ankles, a little purple top down around here. And now it's all kind of dirty, and she has all kind of long teeth, and she has blue eyes and long curly hair, and they look like snakes, and they move around.
And she's nails in, but that length and the Headless Horseman didn't wear these old-fashioned clothes and a saddle on the horse and winkers and...
Now, we're going to talk about the Banshee and how she sounds. And she might sound like an old lady, and she might say, I'm going to haunt you, or she might say something like, oh, you children, I'm going to kill you, or she might sound like a ghost, or she might laugh like a witch.
She might sound like a horror movie. She might go, ooh, I'm going to haunt you. Just to say like you could die in a couple of days or something.
And she usually, instead of just saying something, she usually sings, or she usually just knocks on her door like 1, 2, 3, but they have to be in that kind of order, and they have to be poor slow, and if you open the door and if there's no one there, it's a sign of death, and that's what she mostly does, and that's about it.
If 2 friends are holding hands and you're coming towards a pole, and if you split the pole, you'll probably start fighting after a while.
And Banshee got thrown in over a bridge by a man that was drunk, and she scraped and stuck her nails all into the wall because she didn't want to die, and the man pushed her in when she couldn't hold on that long, and he pushed her in, and she got ate by all the fishes, and she was a lost soul. And you know, if you go over the bridge, you'll see all her claws, and you know, if you touch her, she'll come and haunt you. And so in the bank there's a big green lady, and everyone says that it's only to keep away the children from falling in. And do you know how you get up onto the bank is you walk straight on, right, and then you turn and you walk up a little bit, and there's the green lady, and there's all green, you know, like frog things, and the frog jumping on, it's all green, and everyone says that that's her, but it's not. And Banshee is a girl that has no soul. She's a lost soul or something, and she always brushes her hair and thinks she's all nice, but she's rotten. And you know, all over her face. And you know, if you put your hairbrush out and the windowsill in the night time at 12 o'clock, and if you wake up in the morning, you'll see a lot of grey hair on your hairbrush.
And he had a bear thing, what the name is, going around him, and a black t-shirt and black cowboy shoes and a black pants.
And a black top as well. It was all dressed up in black and same with the horse.
There's this hairbrush, and if you lift the hairbrush up and put it onto wood or metal, then the metal or the wood will explode because there's something in the hairbrush that's very dangerous, that it's not supposed to touch wood or metal, and your house will go on fire. Because when my mother was a little girl, she put her hairbrush on the table, and my nan killed her for it because you're not supposed to put hairbrushes on the table.
If you stand on a grave, it's very bad luck, and if you curse in a graveyard, it's bad luck, and if you see only one magpie in a graveyard, then it's very bad luck. It is.
You're not supposed to throw stones at the headstones, and you're not supposed to paint, like messing with the paint on them, and you're not allowed to take flowers off the concrete, and you get bad luck, and you're not allowed to bring in a dog and make a hole under the grass and put a bone in there, and you get bad luck, and you're not supposed to shout when somebody's praying, and you get bad luck. And
one day, my aunt, no, it was my cousin, her mother told her that the Banshee, was real and she wouldn't believe her, so she went down to the Handball Alley one night at 12:30 and she touched the front corner. She didn't know where she was going or whatever it was. She was coming out of the Handball Alley and she was at the corner and she saw something behind her. She heard something behind her. She looked. She saw that, so she took about 5 steps again and she heard another noise and when she looked back she saw the Handball Alley because it's kind of going down that way and she saw kind of a spiky hair, grey hair sticking up and singing and just sitting on the wall and everything and she ran up home and she even told her mother that she was sorry that she didn't believe her. She's sorry she would never go down there again and she didn't go down there since.
When the Banshee's tree got burnt, all her stuff was up there, her glove and her comb. It's a black comb and a black glove, and then when the tree then got burnt, they all went up there and threw down her stuff, and then the comb about that high and the gloves, big massive glove for her nails, and then they're still down there somewhere, and if you touch it then it's really bad luck, and the comb and the glove, you'll die if you touch the Banshee stuff.
My sister told me the story about the Green Lady, and she was 19 and it was her birthday, so she went out to the pub with her friends and she came back and she was going out to the bank for a walk during the night because they were too drunk. They went out to the bank for a walk and they walked too far and they went by the Green Lady's lake. So they looked down at the Green Lady's lake and they saw the Green Lady brushing her hair, and then she went back home and told me and my mum.
I was in bed one night, right? And I heard these noises outside the window and they were like and I looked up the window and they were going, and there was a Banshee over in Thomond Park, the rugby pitch, Thomond Park, over there. And there was about 3, there was only about Banshee, but it looked like 3 of them because it was lighted up. And she was combing her hair with her nails. They were about the length of crayons, and even bigger. And she was combing her hair. And if she saw me that time, she would have given me 10 seconds to get away. And if she did see me, if I didn't get away in 10 seconds, she would have killed me. So she didn't spot me, and you know what I did? I jumped back in, right? And I peeked out the window, and she was gone.
I was walking down the bank before, and I was with my uncle, and it was on Halloween night because I asked him to, and everyone says if you pass the Green Lady on Halloween night, she'll try to come up when someone's looking away and she'll try to take you. So I was holding on to my uncle.
My aunt was telling me on Halloween night, she lives across from the bank, there's the bank and there's her house, and she was telling me that the headless coach had come out, so she was frightening me so I wouldn't go out playing anymore, and she was telling me that he'd come out and take me away.
And my mother told me there's a such thing that it's on some season, at 12 o'clock you're not supposed, I think it's on Halloween, 12 o'clock you're not supposed to walk the footpath because it's the death's time and they'll knock you off it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
My mother told me that too.
That's why I now left walk the footpath. I am like, right.
At 12 o'clock on a Halloween night.
Very frightening.